We Are Forum Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. This is our Oscars preview of 2014. We're previewing the 86th Oscars right now. Sitting next to me, of course, you know her, Natalie Rydstrom. Natalie, how you doing?
Very good, Pete. Good to be here, and I'm looking forward to moving on to the next segment.
We just got finished discussing the acting categories. Now we're going to discuss the Best Picture categories and the Screenplay categories and all that. And our guest expert comes to us from William Hill. His name is Lee Phelps. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me on. It's looking forward to talking about these big categories. Hopefully we can beat some of these really short price favourites.
Before we get into it, give another quick plug for yourself. Tell us about what you do at William Hill and where we can find your podcasts and your video products.
Well, and anyone who knows UK betting knows that William Hill is the home of betting. We do podcasts on all the major sports for the weekend, including the Premier League with the likes of Ron Atkinson and Robbie Savage. We do TV previews as well with Robbie Savage every week. So just check out the William Hill website. On the football pages, you'll find all the soccer videos, and go to audioboo.fm, search William Hill, and all our podcasts are there. We do about 15 to 20 a week, so check some of them out. They're good fun.
All right. Let's start with Best Picture. Now, again, here we have an enormous favorite. 12 Years a Slave is the huge, huge favorite. What are the factors that go into making one picture a huge favorite over another one?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what they've won in the run up to the Oscars. You know, what kind of feeling there is in Hollywood. You kind of the momentum that gets. There's a lot of talk about momentum when you talk to the guys from Variety and from the Hollywood Reporter. They talk about how a film gradually builds up some steam.
Right.
Now, this is an interesting one, because everyone you speak to in Hollywood can't split this. You'll speak to someone, 12 Years a Slave. Another person, Gravity. Someone else loves, Dallas Buyers Club, etc., etc. Now, when it's that tight, and some of the some respected Oscars journalists and some people who've been around for a long time can't split these two, how can they be so far apart in price?
I don't know. That's what we're asking you.
They can't. They shouldn't be, is my opinion.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised about Captain Phillips, priced at $251. Surely they're worth a bet here. Like, it was a fantastic film, and it was one that kind of moved me toward, afterwards as well. What are your thoughts on that?
I think its release date maybe counts against it. I think a lot of people have kind of almost forgotten it, and other films have come along in the meantime. And when you come out of the cinema having watched it, you're just like, wow, that was a fantastic film. But a few months on, you haven't quite got that same feeling when you've watched, maybe Wolf of Wall Street and come out and gone, wow, that was amazing, and been absolutely grief-stricken watching 12 Years a Slave. So I think its timing hasn't helped it at all. I mean, it's the sort of thing where if you really feel like it's got a chance, you can have a very small bet on a price like that, can't you?
Yeah.
I think it's between the top two in the market. I do think it's between 12 Years a Slave and Gravity. I just don't think they should be that far apart.
And not Dallas Buyers Club there with they range from about 12 with 888 Sport and 34 with Ladbrokes. You don't think that they're in the running there?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's interesting the way Best Picture is done slightly differently to the other awards. The way this is done is the Academy members pick a favourite film, and then they also pick a second and third. Now, often the second and third choices can win this award, because if there's a lot of disagreement, as there is in this year's category for Best Picture, as to what is the best film, well, it might end up that the second and third accumulate so many points, if you like, that it actually becomes the best picture. That might harm 12 Years a Slave. If they've got number one and, Gravity gets a lot of number twos, or if someone else goes for, like you said, Captain Phillips is number one, well, what if Gravity is a lot of people's number twos and a few first choices as well? Now, Gravity's got a real good chance here. The downside to it is this: historically, over the recent time anyway, when you look at, Avatar was up against Hurt Locker, you had Hugo up against The Artist, Life of Pi up against Argo. Now, they all went to the historical film, the kind of the serious film, if you like, not the 3D kind of blockbuster Avatar, which took $1 billion. They went to the meaningful film. So you would imagine, if the Academy follows that 12 Years a Slave will win the Oscar, and I think that's why the prices are slightly skewed. But everyone loves Gravity. I mean, if you talk about box office, it absolutely, it annihilated 12 Years a Slave in terms of taking to the box office. Obviously, it's not all about box office. I just think that price for Gravity, I'm tempted. I'm tempted to take 12 Years a Slave on here.
Yeah, I think you have a point there for sure, where they do go for the more deeper, meaningful. But then that's why also Dallas Buyers Club why wouldn't you put that up there with 12 Years a Slave? Like, would you say really, you know, even the odds of 1.25, because there is a couple here that could make it, you know, to lay that amount of money on, you know, would you be tempted? Would you do that really?
Yeah, but I mean, all these movies are deep and meaningful, aren't they? Which one's not deep and meaningful?
The Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street isn't. You know what I mean?
Well,
You know.
I mean, it's a
I
wide
get
depth,
your point.
it's a wide
They are,
meaning.
you know, they are. I mean, look, this is if you wanted to have a week of watching films, you know, this is a tremendous list of films. I mean, Her is a brilliant film. Philomena, a great film. American Hustle's a great film. You know, American Hustle's got 10 nominations at the Oscars. We're not even talking about it for Best Picture. I just think it's between those top two. The momentum's built up for Gravity. These two films also shared something called the Producers Guild Award. I mean, you know. To tie for that award is unheard of, you know, and that generally means the Oscar is going to the film that wins that. They tied, you know?
Right.
So, you know, that's interesting as well. So what I'm saying is, if they couldn't separate them for the Producers Guild Award, if veteran Hollywood reporters can't separate them, you have to go with Gravity from a betting point of view. Whatever you think about the films, you have to go with Gravity because it's too big a price if they can't be split.
Right, but yeah, I'm just worried. I mean, like, you know, all these films are deep and meaningful, but maybe 12 Years a Slave is like a level above the others in terms of deep and meaning, and just no one's going to vote against it.
That's fair. I mean, the Academy would also be, you know, creating some history. It would be the first time a black director has won Best Picture for his film in 86 years. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot to this film. You know, it's obviously, you know, the subject matter is a huge thing in the States as well, and it'd be a tremendously worthy film if it won. No problem with that at all. It's just the prices can't be right because, you know, if everyone's saying they're so close, why are they so far apart in the betting?
I think it's a lock. 12 Years a Slave, 1.25. Natalie, what do you think?
Well, do you know, I think I'd actually leave this bet out. If anything, I don't know. I think I'll pass on this one. But you're going to go for 12 Years a Slave, you?
I think it's a lock. It's too deep and meaningful. It's not going to lose. Lee Phelps, what's your value pick for Best Picture?
I'll go Gravity on the price grounds alone.
Really? Ooh. You think it has that? You think it actually has a legitimate chance of getting an upset?